Okay, today we are going to continue solving quadratic equations by graphing, and we're going to work with some star type problems. So just a reminder, to solve a quadratic by graphing, it needs to be in standard form. So ax squared bx plus c, and it has to equal 0. Okay, then we will put it into Desmos. Then we will identify the x values where the graph crosses the x-axis. And we'll decide on some of these you might not need both numbers, but we'll figure that out. Remember, other words for solutions are roots, zeros, and x-intercepts. They all mean the same thing. So depending on what the question asks, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. So number 1 says, what are the solutions to x squared plus 2x minus 1 equals 2? So I'm going to box the side that's the term that's by itself because that tells me I need to move it. So I'm going to move it over. In this case, I can go ahead and subtract 2 from that negative 1. So I'm going to bring everything else down. So x squared plus 2x. Negative 1 minus 2 is a minus 3. 2 minus 2 cancels, and it equals 0. This equation is now equal to 0, so I can go ahead and put it into Desmos. When I go to Desmos, I'm going to go ahead, and it's good to get used to using y. So y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. I'm going to click both spots. So negative 3 and 1. So my solution, I'm going to draw my squiggly bracket. Negative 3, 1 would be my answer. Okay. All right, on example 2, I'm going to rewrite the equation over here so I have more room. I'm going to box the one by itself because that tells me it needs to move. So I'm going to move the minus 10. I'm going to put it over here with the negative 13, and I'm going to add. So I'm bringing down the 2x squared, bringing down the negative 7x. Negative 13 plus 10 is going to give me a negative 3. Negative 10 plus 10 cancels, so I have 0. Now this is ready to put into Desmos. So I'm going to go to Desmos. And I'm going to start with y equals 2x squared minus 7x minus 3. And I'm going to go ahead and write down these decimals. So I have negative 0.386 and positive 3.886. So when we go back, these are the decimals Desmos gave me, but my answer choices are not in decimals. So we need to type the answer choices to match our decimals. Okay, so I'm going to start with A. And I'm going to go to Desmos, and I'm going to press, since that's a big fraction, I'm going to go ahead and start by pressing divide. So at the top, we have a negative 7. Then you see that plus minus symbol. That tells me I'm going to need to put it in twice. I'm going to need to put it in once as a plus and once as a minus. So let's go ahead and start with the plus. So we're going to have negative 7 plus the square root is down here at the bottom by the ABC, 73. And then at the bottom of my fraction, I have a 4. So that one matches my... Actually, that one does not match because it's not negative. So that means answer choice A is no good. So let's try answer choice B. So we're going to come over here and we're going to try B. So B is just positive 7. And then I need to change the bottom to a 2. That one is not it either. So I'm going to cross out B. Let's try C. So the only difference between B and C is I need to change the denominator to a 4. Okay, so that gives me one of my options. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to change the plus to a minus. That gives me the other answer. So my answer would be C. Okay. Example 3, what are the zeros? Remember, roots, zeros, solutions, it's all the same. Okay, so on this one, it's the same thing as the one above it. I'm going to move that negative 7 over, drop down everything else. Negative 15 plus 7 is going to give me a negative 8. And that's equal to 0, so now it's Desmos ready. So we're going to go to Desmos. We're going to have y equals 8x squared plus 7x minus 8. And I'm going to go ahead and write those down. Okay, so I have my decimals written out. Now I'm going to check my answer choices to see which one matches. So I'm going to press divide. And first we have 7 plus square root of 305 over 16. That gives me a positive 1.529. I needed a negative. So that tells me answer choice A is out. So now I'm going to just change what I need to. So I'm going to click in the beginning. For answer choice B, I need a negative. And I need the denominator to be 16. Okay, so it gave us the 0.654. So we can change the plus to a minus. And that gave us our negative 1.529. So we have both of those on answer choice B. Okay, let's look at this word problem. The total number of seats in an auditorium is modeled by this function, where x represents the number of rows. How many rows are there in the auditorium if it has a total of 540 seats? So I'm looking for rows. It tells me that x is my rows, so I'm looking for x. Okay, remember this f of x is the same thing as y. We have a total of 540 seats. So if our total is 540, that means it's what it's equal to. So that's our y. So we're going to have 540 equals 2x squared minus 6x. Remember, in order to solve, I need this to equal 0. So I'm going to work on this side, and we're going to bring this all the way over. So I'm going to subtract 540. Imagine there's a 0 here if you would like. This cancels. So then we have 2x squared minus 6x minus 540. Okay, so now this is Desmos ready. So we're going to go to Desmos. I'm going to type in y equals 2x squared minus 6x minus 540. Okay, on your screen originally it might look like this. Just zoom out. So our solutions are negative 15 and 18. So we have negative 15 and 18. But let's think about it. We are talking about numbers of rows. We can't have negative rows. So that answer choice is no good. So our number of rows would be 18.